So, hi guys, this is Flabby. I want to show you what I did with Spark and Curses because I think it works rather well. And it's very entertaining to play and pretty strong and safe. It's not Voltaxic, it's not the champion meta, but it's something different. It's a caster that has no issue with no region, slow region and all the likes. And it's a very nice curse support with a lot of damage, keeping in mind that we are basically pentacursing in the build out I have right now, and I can kill most endgame bosses without too much hassle. Let's start by just doing this map. It's nothing special: chill ground, additional rogue exiles, turbo and projectiles. So I wanted to do a caster for long, but usually casters play slow somehow, and even worse, they have issues with slow and no region. And the only way I found that you can prevent this is by running a warlord's mark around your head. There are other approaches, going blood magic, or going for this guy here, Vaal Clarity, and chain it forever. But they usually don't play nice. I never liked them. So what I did is I set Warlord's Mark as first curse. Now the next thing I wanted is, like, I want some safety. Like, from where can you get safety from? Usually it's freeze. Freeze is a good safety. Temp chains is a good safety. And feeble. You can also do block and other defenses, but I'm playing softcore, so let's be aggressive. Then it is freeze. How do we get freeze? Well, on a Sparker, obviously with this guy. Call of the Brotherhood. Half your damage is cold, you get decent crit, you freeze a lot, more than enough to get you at least some safety. On top of that, we have Warlord's Mark, that gives us permanent endo charges, so we also have sort of the old Immortal Call permanent uptime. Like, how shall I say it? As you can see, that works rather well. I mean, it's an easy map, but, well, yeah, works. So the next thing is I wanted to have more curses. That's why I'm Occultist. Occultist has basically 3 curse setup already, because you're very close to the additional curse from the tree. You get 1 from the Ascendancy class, so you're at 3. Add the dirges, then you're already at 4. So you can go 5, that's what I did, but that opens other issues. We'll go for that a bit later. Oh, doesn't matter. Yeah, again, hard to talk and play, I'm not used to that, not a streamer. Give me a second. So yeah, so what do we have now? We have basically a decent kind of defense, because we freeze with temp chains. And Call of the Brotherhood. We also have good anti-fizz, because we have Immortal Call with endo charges up. We do also have a lot of mana leech from Warlord's Mark. And we have a good amount of life leech from Warlord's Mark, so that's already working pretty well. So now, damage. Damage in Ascendancy is a joke, to be honest, because everything you're gonna build is going to do more damage than you ever need. Like, go for Templar, you penetrate, go for Assassin, you crit cap, go for Ranger with Deadeye, you have 30% more chain, whatever you need. So damage is usually not an issue. But where does this guy get his damage from? That's rather interesting. So we have the basic Spark, which already works pretty decent. I'm at like 50k GMP DPS in the hideout before charges. and let's find a pack to show you where I'm here. I go up to 75k plus projectile weakness plus assassin's mark plus elemental weakness, so that's more like probably a 150k sparker, I'd say. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but it should play the same. But where does this damage come from? It's basically a combination of this guy, the writhing jar, we kill. Well, actually, we didn't kill good because it only had 2 curses. Let's try again. No, it should be a little bit more. It's not. Well, in general, it's you have 5 curses, which together with... Where's the fucking occultist? There it is. With this guy here, gives us 20% chaos damage of all our damage on top. If we add this flask, we basically are already at 35% chaos damage on top of our normal damage. The rest is basically just crit spell damage and spark, which is a surprisingly good spell. And it works decently. Let's give me another map. What do we have here? Let's do a Collosseum. Yeah, that's good. So you can see how it actually works out. The boss is gonna wreck me, but doesn't matter. One issue I had, which I could solve with Writhing Jar as well, is that if you want to go 5 curses, you run into issues applying them. You can do blasphemy, okay. Running 5 blasphemies is gonna be hard, even with Heretic's Veil. And it also has the issue of you can only curse on screen and the mobs lose their curses when you're running away from the screen. So what I did, I went for Ascended Touch, Gentle Touch with temp chains and corrupted like 120 of those to get the fucking Ella weakness, but well, you don't need to do this, but it's actually rather good for this build. Now what we have is we have the Warlord's Mark up at all times. We have Asenach, so whoa, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? We have basically temp chains and weakness up at all times. Oh, fuck. I hate this bug. I'll talk about this later. Doesn't matter. We died. Who cares? It's softcore, no experience. Well, actually I had experience, but it doesn't matter. So where were we? Yeah, we have 3 curses applied. We still don't want... What you would do at this stage normally, if you're a cursor, you go curse on hit in your main link. That's sort of okay for apply, but the result is you don't do any damage anymore. A better solution that I found is simply using the Writhing Jar with Herald of Ice curse on hit. Because if you crit on the Writhing Jar mobs, they will trigger Herald of Ice. And once they do this, they apply the curses with Herald of Ice, which is a pretty nice feature and works pretty decently. You don't need it for normal packs because, well, the first toon is going to explode pretty soon, then you have the curses up, and then the pack is basically dead. You need it for bosses though, and single rares, an Exile here, or a champ pack where you like need a faster ramp up for damage. You just cruise in, press the pot, everything is cursed, everything dies. Which is pretty interesting and fun to play. Like, I mean, let's hunt a pack and let's cruise in and press the pot and it's dead. See, worms were there. Well, they didn't curse. It's the shore effect, not working when you want to show it, but trust me, it works pretty decently. So, what's left to say for this guy? Let me do a check on my list. Writhing Sharp's Habit of Ice, chaos damage on freeze on shock. Oh yeah, the funny thing is, like, I have almost no packs that really take longer than maybe 2 seconds, because then the first mob's going to die, and if the first mob dies, that 20% chaos damage from Occultist is basically gonna wreck it apart. I mean, you can see it live here. Oh! What's wrong with you? Oh, crit multiplier +1 might be a little bit too much. Yeah, it's too much, but well. So, to sum it up, we have Writhing Jar for curse supply, we have Writhing Jar for extra damage, we use Aziri Flask to have a nice 30% chaos damage in most packs. We do a 5 curse supply with Herald of Ice, we have a decent amount of buffer, 8.5k is pretty strong. We have constant Warlord's Mark, which enables us to run slow region, no region, whatever you like. Another thing where Warlord's Mark is, where Writhing Jar is extremely good, is when you run it together with Disenchant, because it's just 0.5, but those 0.5% mana leech, they help a lot, because at those damage levels that basically means you can pre-cast. So you press Writhing Jar, you kill a mob, and then you can... Oh, what the fuck? And then you can basically cast for 4 seconds for free. Okay, I have some sort of lag. Thank you, GGG, for that. Actually, that's a Collosseum Map. That's right, I'm not applied. Oh, this is genius. I'm glad I recorded that. So, as you can see, shit works even without curses. Oh boy. So this was basically purely the leech of the fucking boots. Actually, that's amazing. Yeah, so what's left to discuss? Yeah, we can go on here. The passive tree is sort of standard. You pick this guy, get some energy shield, as much damage as you can, get at least one skill effect duration node because we're playing Spark. We want this one as well for projectile speed, and this one as well for projectile speed. We definitely need Vaal Pack because we're basically a leech tank. We get some less mana reduction so we can fit in those auras. Obviously Ghost Reaver is a core node, nothing to discuss here. And well, this is basically what worked out best for me. I'm not sure it's optimal, but it's pretty close to, at least to my gear level. So a weapon is dirt cheap. The only thing we want here is the 25% attack speed because we're rolling blading as like a maniac. I have like a cast speed corruption. I got this for 10k, so nothing big here. You don't really need that. This one was a lot of work with elemental weakness on hit. Bit of annoying. It took me like 120. I already mentioned that. This one was expensive as well. I think I paid 4x, 3x. Well, obviously a 6-link shafts is always a big price driver. I got a pretty decent helmet here. You can obviously just reduce that to 300 or something. This will still give you more than enough buffer to run like tier 12 maps. I got a pretty decent shield here. You can get this level for like an X or 2 these days. The boots are amazing. I sniped them for an X and enchanted them. I think they're worth a lot more these days. Obviously you can just simply reduce the energy shield and still have same build decently built. The belt I crafted myself, pretty easy to do. For less than an X you can have similar belts, not an issue, because alt regaling is pretty easy. So flask setup, we use a diamond flask because we want more crit. It's like a nice damage boost. Obviously we need writhing jar to trigger occultist and curses. We have a series promise, which is an insane damage and leech boost, which is basically set, and because we can, we're adding an onslaught flask. I'm not like too worried about not dying on this char. He's 95 right now. I'm just fooling around. You would probably use a basalt and the granite if you're serious. I was just too lazy to replace the flask. You should use a mana flask with more uses than this one. You kind of don't need it in normal maps, but if you want to run no region or slow region, you'll occasionally need it because Vaal Clarity run is not available, and you need to writhing jar is not available, and then you need to basically pot. But that's like the only case where you have to. One thing I would like to mention: if you want to play this and have fun, you'll need jewels, like this. You want that attack and cast speed. The cast speed isn't that important. What you want is like some dual attack speed jewels. Why? Because you want the fast rolling blades, and that is more important usually than getting some more damage. Like, the damage is more than enough, at least for my taste. What you definitely want is you want to be able to move faster, to escape faster, to keep up with your high DPS, fast running guys, and for that you need whirling blades. So, bandits was, I think I still have life on this guy, which is obviously wrong now that I'm low life. For the second part, it's definitely the skill point, the 4% attack speed, cast speed, or 8% ES. Don't cut it when you have the option to like pick nodes like these. And the last point is obviously a power charge. So then let's try to get this map done. Which is totally retarded because I just showed a quad cursor in a Pentacurse in a fucking Collosseum Map, and was it took me half a map to realize it. Okay, I probably should get another coffee.